everyone. Today I thought I would teach you how to make a coconut flour cornbread. That's right, cornbread that doesn't use cornmeal or corn. I know that may sound weird, but I promise you, in the keto community, we get very creative. And I wanted to make a cornbread recipe out of coconut flour because I do have a very popular one that's made with almond flour, but I know that not everyone can have that. So this is not only almond flour free, it's also tree nut free because of the use of coconut flour. The added benefit to that is that it's even lower in carbs, winning, and it's high in fiber. So let's try doing this together. I'm using my iPad to follow along. You can follow the recipe on our site, and I'm going to leave all that in the description. But also we have an app that you can download and you can test it for yourself there. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add some softened cream cheese. You want the cream cheese to be at room temperature. And you may be wondering, cream cheese, what does that have to do with cornbread? Well, we're playing with texture here, right? And we want our cornbread to be moist and have the right consistency. And what I've learned over the years that the best way to do that is to add a little cream cheese when working with, specifically when working with coconut flour. And then we're gonna add 6 whole eggs. So I love having my eggs at room temperature. They just blend better and it just makes it incorporate with the recipe so much faster. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna crack these eggs and we're gonna combine it with the cream cheese first. And you're gonna notice that the batter is very loose. And that's because of all of the eggs, obviously. And then we're gonna add heavy cream. Heavy cream also adds not only flavor, but what's great about this recipe in particular is that because of the high protein that it has, you're talking about, it has 6 eggs, it has butter, it has heavy cream. It is almost like our way, at least in our family, we love having it for breakfast. It could be a slice of this with a little bit of cheese and we're ready to go. And so first I'm combining that here. I'm just gonna let it just stir up as quickly as possible. While that's mixing, I'm gonna go ahead and now add the heavy cream. Add a little bit of heavy cream. That's gonna give it the moisture, because if you've ever worked with coconut flour, you'll notice that it's very thirsty. That means it requires a lot more liquid. Usually recipes that require coconut flour use a lot less coconut flour. But in this case, I want a texture that's a little firmer. And so I wanted to make sure I had enough coconut flour. In fact, there are actually 1.5 cups of coconut flour in this recipe. At this point, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of water. So this is basically what would be the milk in a traditional recipe. Okay, so we're mixing this up. Meanwhile, while that's getting mixed, I'm going to go ahead and stir up, just whisk in some sweetener. Now you can add whatever sweetener you prefer. We've done it with any number. Right now I'm using a monk fruit sweetener. What I love about the monk fruit sweetener is that it just has enough sweetness. It behaves very similarly to sugar. Now you may say, well, hold on, why any sugar in cornbread? Look, I'm here in South Florida, and us Southerners, we like our cornbread a little on the sweet side. But guess what? You don't have to add any sweetener at all. I added about 3 tablespoons of monk fruit to this recipe. And now I'm going to add the baking powder and some salt. And just, that's going to be the leavening. The flour, the salt adds a little bit of flavor also. It enhances the flavor of the cornbread. While this is now pretty much incorporated, again, it's still very loose. I'm going to now add the melted butter. You want the melted butter to cool, because what we don't want is for those eggs to get scrambled, right? So I've allowed this to melt. It's already set a little bit, and that's okay because it's gonna just whisk in beautifully here at this point. And we are adding 3/4 cups of melted butter. So this is gonna be really rich. I can't wait for you to try this. So here we go. At this point, we have our secret recipe. Now, there are many cornbread extracts on the market. One of my favorites is Ooh Flavors, but there's definitely others that are also working this recipe. And you're gonna basically add as much as you love. I do think it is important to add a cornbread extract if you want to have that flavor, but I know that there are people who prefer not to add, and that's okay too, because guess what? You're still gonna have a good textured cornbread in this case. It may not taste exactly, but it's gonna have a similar mouthfeel because of all the other great ingredients. I'm also baking this in a trusty cast iron. I love using a cast iron because I feel that it develops the best crust for a cornbread. Again, you can make it in a cake pan and it's still gonna work well, but it's not exactly the best crust that you'll get. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven now. You've noticed that I greased it already, and I'm gonna put it in the oven because similar to traditional cornbread, I wait for the cast iron to be nice and hot before I add the batter into it. Let's do that next. So while that's warming up in the oven, I am gonna now add the coconut flour, baking powder, and salt into this batter. And that's it, guys. Once this is fully incorporated, we can put it straight into the heated cast iron skillet. And before you know it, we're gonna enjoy some yummy cornbread without any cornmeal or corn. I'm gonna stop it here. Let you guys take a peek as to how the batter is now. You notice it's a very thick batter. It's exactly what we want, but it's still gonna be moist because we've added the heavy cream, water, and the eggs. And so that's gonna be perfection once it bakes up for you. I love the crust that develops in this cornbread. I love that it slices beautifully. It toasts beautifully, so you can definitely toast this the next day. If you use it for leftovers, you can freeze it. It freezes also very well. And if you can see here, I'm just gonna, the last bit of it, I'm just gonna go ahead and mix it by hand because I don't wanna over mix this batter. But it's in here, nice and mixed and ready to go. How many of you have ever had a keto cornbread recipe? Make sure you let me know in the comments. So here we go. This batter is perfection. It's ready to go. And now let's see if our butter has melted. Looks like it has. Just gotta wash my hands here real quick. And I'm gonna take that out of the oven. So we can get this in the oven to bake. So at this point, you see the butter has melted. The cast iron skillet is nice and hot. Here we go. The oven is set at 350 degrees. And And every oven is a little bit different, so we'll see how long it'll bake for you. But for me, it normally takes anywhere between 45 minutes to maybe 50 minutes, depending on the size of your pan. If you go obviously with a smaller pan, I wouldn't go with a smaller pan, but if you go with a larger pan, you're going to spread the batter and it'll definitely bake a little faster for you. I like using the convection setting of my oven because of, again, it just helps to create the perfect crust. So at this point, we are ready to put this in the oven. Let's see if I have the strength to do this. Get a workout while I cook for you. Set the timer. And as we wait, you may be wondering, well, Hilda, tell me, why do you even share your recipes? What prompted you to do this? To me, when I began creating keto recipes, it came out of a necessity. It was back in 2014 when it was very rare to find any recipes out there that were low in carbs, sugar-free, keto-friendly. It just wasn't a thing. And so I just started experimenting. I've always loved to bake. I've always loved to cook. And so I thought, let's try this. Let's see if I can do this. And to be very honest with you, in the beginning, there was a lot of throwing away of ingredients, and that was very frustrating. And what I want is for you to have some core recipes that will help you transition into keto and not feel deprived. Do you need a recipe like this? If you've been doing keto for a number of years, maybe not. Maybe you're fine. Maybe you no longer need bread of any sort. But otherwise, if you're starting new, you may feel like, hey, I could use this. I could use something like this to make it easier. And I always say, let's make keto a delicious breeze. And for me, it was just my way of sharing the love of cooking and eating healthier by just swapping out some ingredients. And so I hope you'll embrace the keto diet easily the way we were once we started doing this. So our cornbread is ready. Our coconut flour keto cornbread is ready. So I've allowed it to get nice and golden brown. You can, it's your preference. You may not like it like that. In our home, we fight for the crust. So we like it nice and toasty. I've let it set just for a few minutes. And I have some yummy butter here because I don't know about you guys, but slathering a little bit of butter on the surface of this warm keto cornbread just makes sense to me. So we're just going to add a little bit more of that in here. And then I'm going to give it a nice slice. Then I'm going to see if Randy wants to taste it. You all know Randy. He's my hubby of 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. And he is our #1 taster. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this here. The first slice is always trickier. So I think, ooh, look at that steam. While I wait to tell Randy. Cornbread. Who knew you can have cornbread on keto and the coconut flour version for that matter? So I'm gonna just add a little extra butter here because why not? And then I don't want him to burn himself, so I'm gonna give him little fork here. And let's see if I can convince him to come. Hey, love. Love. I have something for you to taste. Are you ready? You've been wondering what you've been smelling?
What do we have here?
We have some cornbread, but this cornbread is made out of coconut flour. And it's a little hot, but
Yeah. That is really good.
you think you'd like this for breakfast tomorrow?
Oh yeah, with some cheese.
With a little slice of cheese and some hot coffee, and we're ready to go. Full of protein, full of all the nutritious fiber that we also need, all the good stuff, and it's keto friendly. Well, I hope you try it soon, and please let me know if you do.
Stay fit to serve.